Okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this thing, and I'll just bring up my face and see. Make sure we have audio. And sorry, this was so last minute. I just threw this stream together. I just didn't want to. Oh my god, if my phone would work, so I can pull everything up, make sure I can be heard. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So, okay, Assassin, say something so make sure people can hear you.
Testing, testing. Testing, one, two, three.
Cool. All right, and Lotus, thank you so much for jumping in. Really appreciate you. Yeah, this was so last minute. Dante, what's up, bro? What's up, dude? It looks like so. Bear with me. You guys are gonna see like a lot of weird stuff. We're trying to find the actual stream itself. It's probably a little behind, so let me just try to grab it from. Let me see if I can do this.
Just the amount of people hoping for all of Xbox's games to go on other platforms is disgusting. Like, really.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Oh yeah, sure. We'll see. I just got a notification about the podcast too.
Oh, so here, there it is. Hang on. I apologize, guys. I'm
Did you find
trying
it?
to pull it up. Starfield Signal is streaming it. Um, Here we go.
Xbox going third party. Blah blah blah.
If there is, oh, here we go. Wait,
You
is
send
this
me the
it?
link when you find it.
There it is. There it is. Okay.
I'm your host, Tina.
Let me just pull it up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a link real quick and put that in this right here.
Yeah, Xbox here is like watching it. What the hell?
Boom. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Let me just undo literally everything I just did.
4 games.
Uh, Always something. Sorry, guys. I am literally. I don't know why my face disappeared, or if it did. I have no idea what's going on there. I'm just.
the news coming up, and then hardware. But
There's no audio.
we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's
Okay,
just
there
go
it is.
and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other
There we go.
consoles, just 4 games. Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, game teams put a lot of energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria in how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Okay.
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, I'd say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've realized their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games that can benefit from bigger
That's not gonna work,
audiences,
Phil.
new audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show, where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years, where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil mentioned, there are games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the two key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts. So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing, and I think is something that we as First Party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment to make Xbox, the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first-party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places. Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content, community, and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like, we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade. It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really, a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up, is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years. And I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming. And in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding those to the base of players that already play? Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators, so those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great. I think about it for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the industry, we've moved from a place where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform
I think you're muted.
are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with cloud.
Well said,
How do we
Gillian,
actually give more
and thank you for being
options to
here.
game
And yeah, I agree,
creators so they can
Dante.
have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Power World. You know, Power World was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously launched in Steam. And through the combination of those things, you know, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success, and it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview. We have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach new players beyond the console ecosystem. And that's why we're leaning into it and doing more, because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for
So far,
creators,
so good,
for the
Red.
games,
So far,
and
so
those
good.
communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to go great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. I'm a slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that, and online. You know, one of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally, it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered all of the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass. And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform that's dedicated to you, like player-first features, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, backwards compatibility, being able to play your games in your library anywhere you want because of the investments that we make in cloud gaming. And so you're playing somewhere where you're investing and you know you get to take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are. And I think most importantly, Xbox is a place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing somewhere that is dedicated to making
about the future
games
with Windows
more
hardware.
successful and creators more successful so that they can invest more to bring even better experiences to you all of the time.
Yeah, just that investment in the studios is so, and we feel that as part of first party with the platform proximity. You know, it's kind of amazing now to look out across all the studios we've got and just be reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means that the biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. And this 2024, the year coming up, we've got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game. And there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get ready to work on that show. Well, thank you all for showing up on the podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. Well, there you have it. There you have it. And let me switch over to this.
Are leaving the door open on Starfield. It's like,
oh God, what the hell is happening? Get off! Get off! Oh my God, I am so sorry, Chad. I just subjected you to that. Oh my God.
Oh my God, what is
I
happening?
am so sorry. That was really bad. That was really bad. Oh, what the hell is happening? This is great. Let me put this back where it needs to be. So we can go full screen and switch over. I'm really sorry, chat. I didn't mean to burn your eyes out and your ears off with that. Let me get back to.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that was kind of rough. Sorry. So, guys, in chat, what do y'all think about that? Kellyanne earlier. I'll fix my overlay in a minute. I can't do anything about it right now. Kellyanne was saying Xbox Series console are critical for communities holding offline tournaments for next-gen exclusive games such as Samurai Showdown, which is only available at 120 FPS, 120 hertz on Series X and S platform. Starfield and Indy, 4 games in Starfield and Indy, and everyone went. Wow, what are you trying to say, Dante? I'm confused. I'm trying to put this back where I need to be. There. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, nope, that's not right either. Boom, there we go. Whatever, I'll fix it later. Yeah. So, not right, exactly, Dante. Yeah, not Starfield and Indy, which is what people were losing their minds about. So, there you go. Starfield,
They were
Indiana
also losing
Jones.
their minds about Gears of War and Halo, which even I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm really happy that they talked about is that they're just saying like nothing has changed. What we're still looking like as far as moving forward with Xbox and Xbox consoles, and like even Matt Booty was saying, what people really cherish most about staying on one platform, or the majority of the time staying on with a brand, is that's where their library is, that's where their friends are, that's where their legacy is essentially as a gamer, and they're saying we're respecting that and we're going to move forward and capitalize on it is what I took away from it. I don't know if you were there for that. Dante
I was
said they said they have 2 smaller titles, and I'm thinking Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi. Yeah. It's funny, whenever they said they're smaller games, for some reason, I still thought smaller game meant Sea of Thieves, even though it's like a big game. But Hi-Fi Rush definitely needs more eyes on it. I would love to see Hi-Fi Rush go to, other platforms. It's such a good game.
So first off, they mentioned 4 games. 2 of them have live service elements. The other 2 don't. They're smaller titles. They've been on Xbox for a little over a year. They weren't built to be platform exclusives in the first place. They weren't meant to be system sellers. From that information, we can... we basically know what those games are. We basically know what they are. It's Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. Those 4 games, I think, are the ones that are going. 2 smaller titles weren't meant to be system sellers, Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. 2 live service games that, like Phil said, they reached their full potential being on Xbox and PC only. It makes sense putting Grounded, Sea of Thieves on Switch, on PlayStation. Those 2 games are family friendly enough for the Switch, and it wouldn't hurt to have a big audience like the PlayStation community come out and support Sea of Thieves and Grounded. Those make sense. Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush, I will admit, those 2 games I think are unique experiences that I think Xbox should have held on to, but hearing Phil say that they weren't meant to be, the big AAA exclusives that we've been waiting for, I mean, I still don't like it, but at the same time, it's hard to deny that those games would probably do better on other platforms. It just... I don't know. I think a lot of people need to experience those games more. I just wish that had Xbox had marketed those games a lot better, then I think a lot of more people would have came to Xbox to play them. But I mean,
Pentiment
4 games
and
coming. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. Right. Yeah, because Pentiment was, people were like, "What is this game?" And now it's, the people that like that game love the game. There's really hardly any in between. Like, I thought it was great for what it was, but I was like, it's definitely not for me. But I'm not gonna hate on it, But Hi-Fi Rush was a game that was literally shadowed. It had no marketing at all, and then it was after they marketed it after the fact, and the fact that they're going out of their way to say, like, these games didn't give. Sorry, what am I trying to say? They didn't get the eyes on them that they deserved, and for the love that they got, like, Hi-Fi Rush got so much love, and it was shadow dropped, and so now, and Phil said, these games that are coming have been on Xbox for at least a year, and we want more people to experience them. I know people are going to start running away with that and say, "How do I know? How do I know what's going to stay on Xbox?" And that's going to be a big talking point. Holy shit, Lotus!
Oh, Lotus, bro! Oh my god!
What the fuck, Lotus, bro? Oh my
Lotus,
god,
dude.
That is crazy. You're like paying my rent. What the fuck?
Hey, I have a question, Red. Why is Lotus not? Why is he not a mod?
Is Lotus
at this
Phil
point?
Spencer? Oh my god, Lotus, dude, that is so. You are, sorry, I almost start crying. Sorry, my voice is a little shaky. Thank you so much. That is really ridiculous, and do not have to do that, man. That is, or lady.
Yeah, he
I don't
really
know.
doesn't.
That is
He or
so
she
generous
really does
of
not
you.
have to do that.
Wow. Damn.
That is insane.
You are, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. That's insane.
He's a
Happy
god.
Bomb. He is a god. I said that to him in the comments. I said, you are setting a platinum standard for community support that no one can really match at all. I don't know who you are, but you are a platinum standard for great community support. That is so generous of you, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to cry. Oh, God. Happy Bomb. Thank you for jumping in here. Man. Wow. Anyway, you talk, Assassin. Because I forgot what the hell I was saying.
So, 4 games, that makes sense. They Ina did a really good job. She asked the right questions. And you confirmed those games are not Starfield Indiana Jones. They are not coming to PlayStation. They're holding on to those big AAA exclusives, and that is something I can appreciate. I really do think that having exclusives builds your platform. It helps build your portfolio among the hardcore gamers, because a lot of people fail to realize or understand a hardcore audience is what sells the product the most. We saw this with games like Elden Ring. The hardcore Souls community was catered to so well that it encouraged the casual audience to come in, and look how well that game did. Same thing happened with Baldur's Gate 3.
Exactly.
If you appeal to your hardcore audience, the rest will fall into place. And I'm glad that Microsoft, well, yes, they are losing 4 exclusives. They are expanding their audience, and at least they are holding on to the exclusives that really will help build Xbox over the next 20 years. Those are the games that truly do matter, like the next Halo, the next Gears of War. And I think even Matt mentioned the June showcase is the one where we're really going to want to take a look at, because once Hellblade 2 is out in May, all the games that we have been wanting to see for the past 5-6 years, they're going to be there. All of them. We're going to see Call of Duty Gulf War. They mentioned that it's coming in October. We're going to see more on Avowed. We're going to see Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We may see another update on Fable and Perfect Dark. This showcase in June, I'm really excited to see. But I'm thankful, and I really do want to tell you, Red, you were right. I'm sorry. I nearly gave in. Okay? I held out hope.
It's okay.
I held out just a tiny bit of hope. I am going to keep my Xbox. It feels so good to be wrong, and I'm not above saying that I was wrong. And
there
saying,
you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know, I mean, apology. I mean, and I hope
Unlike
that a lot of
Damarco.
people. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that a lot of people in the community would feel that way. Like, it feels good to be wrong. It feels good to feel like, because even I felt like a little like, I was like, man, I hope that that's not true. But I know a lot of people ran away with this and overreacted a lot. And I think those people, rightfully so, the people on the other side of it definitely kept the receipts saying, you just screwed yourself. You know, like certain people who did sell their Xboxes for clout and whatnot. But it does feel good, and it is reassuring, and it was more transparent than I thought it was going to be. So that's where I will say I was wrong. I straight up said it on Tuesday's show that I'm not expecting a whole lot of transparency. I'm hoping, and a lot of people were saying like they're just gonna come through and use a bunch of mishmash of words and a bunch of smart words to try to throw people off and just say a bunch of nothing, give a nothing burger to us and feed it to us.
I will
but
say they did give
a lot
us
of
more
reassurance.
information. They gave us more information that we didn't even think about getting. Like Sarah mentioned, Activision Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass.
They're coming.
That is
huge.
something that a lot of us debated on.
Yeah.
Call of Duty and Diablo alone are 2 major money-making machines. And
Right.
it would make sense to not put into Game Pass, but I don't know what Phil and the team at Xbox said to convince Activision Blizzard to like, hey, we think your games would do well on Game Pass coming day 1 and your back catalog, but power to them, man, because Diablo 4 coming on March 28th? Oh, thank
Right.
God I don't have to buy it.
And that's the thing, everyone's like, of course it's going to happen someday, but people are saying like, what's going to be coming from to Game Pass from the ABK deal? And one of the big ones that I think is very possible that we had leaks on a few months ago was World of Warcraft coming to console. That's in the works. So maybe that could happen. I don't know if that's still, we don't know how true that is. We learned how true rumors can and cannot be just now. Dante Mooney, man, you did not, Spriggan, my dude, you did not have to do that. Thank you so much. Give us $20 super chat. He says, turns out the sky is not falling. That's right. Unless you're James Bond. Skyfall. But yeah, thank you so much, Dante. You rock, bro. You did not have to do that, man. I'll have to drop you some sick loot in Division 2 next time we play. Thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. So one thing that I wanted to touch on was that they talked about specifically Windows. They brought up Windows when backwards compatibility got brought up. Phil Spencer said that them supporting backwards compatibility it looks like they're looking more into Windows now. Meaning, to me, he's saying Phil didn't want to use any word. He didn't want to say, when I go on Steam, when I go on Epic Games, he's talking about Windows specifically. When he plays on his PC, he knows that he can go and play 25-year-old games on there. That's just the culture of PC. Like the majority, PC gaming is like I said, PC gamers have been living in a free world for a long time and not worrying about all this console war nonsense for so long. And so it looks like maybe some of the other rumors that I sort of touched on with Windows software coming to next generation of consoles might be a thing that we might be able to access some of those Windows games on our Xbox devices and stuff like that. So what do you think about that? Were you here for that when Sarah Baum was talking about that and Phil?
No, unfortunately not. But one thing that, speaking of Windows, I'm not sure if this is inherently related, but the one thing that I'm interested in, what is Phil talking about when he says we're going to see a very big hardware leap, either this or next generation? What are they building behind the scenes that is making Phil so confident in that statement? Like, is it more processing power? Is it like what are they doing?
I think the naming convention of the Xbox One used to be, it's your all-in-one entertainment device, right? This is where you watch your movies and you play your games and all that. Now they're to me, from what I've been hearing is, and Yadani has heard the same thing, I'm sure, that they are probably looking into consolidating their PC and Xbox games onto one platform using Windows software, and then making deals with studios to optimize certain games to have a balanced experience with performance and quality. Because like Damarco touched on, whenever you load up a PC game, you have the options to do whatever you want with the options. The graphics, you want it to run at 120 frames or whatever. These developers are going to have to use, they're going to have to optimize the games to just run at a, you either can have 30 frames or 60 at the most, and we got to balance the quality versus the performance. So that way Xbox gamers don't have to worry about that. But that's not to say that whatever comes next for Xbox, whatever the next, big Xbox next generation device, isn't going to allow us to do that at all. I mean, we could be able to load up a PC game from Steam, from Epic, from GOG, from whatever, and go into the settings the same way that we would on a PC. And people would say, well, why don't you just get a PC then? That's because this is entry-level gaming into the PC gaming space for casual players that they don't want to spend, you don't want to go spend $1,200 on a 4090 or however much they are. But what if someone told you there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of PC games that you might potentially be able to play on your Xbox, just by the same way that you always have, but now there's software integrated with that. So, because now with the power narrative has been changing so much, like how much more powerful can consoles get until they just turn into a PC? I think ease of access is really important. So I said a lot. Happy bombs, no toasters, no toasters in the bathtub. We're good. Everything's fine. Fine here. So, Yadani, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping in.
Just now saw it.
Yeah, I've been just on a rant. I just wanted to get all that out because they sort of touched on what's gonna want to happen next. He said, I missed it because of work. Are we safe? Can I put the toaster? Okay, I didn't see that. Yeah. Fantastic. And thanks to everyone for hanging out with us. We're just talking about our thoughts after the fact. And it wasn't live. It was just, they just posted a video. I should have known it was going to be curated. I don't know why I thought it wasn't.
I don't know why a lot of people thought that it was streaming. Like, their podcast has never been a streaming type of event. Their podcast has always been just posted onto the Xbox YouTube channel, and I guarantee you that one particular podcast video will do numbers today. I'm reading Twitter right now, and this is coming from Pio. I'm pretty sure you've seen him around on Twitter. He's a big PlayStation fan. He says, as a PlayStation fan, I am extremely happy Xbox will still compete with PlayStation. I truly believe if PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo competes for our time, we win as fans. And I cannot
100%
agree with him even more than that.
Yeah. Without competition, let me tell you about a company that has not tried to improve because they don't have any competition in their space, and that's Nintendo. And people are talking, whenever Power World came out, people are like, Nintendo, get off your ass and do something special with your brand. Don't just, do bare minimum, because they know that their fan base will take bare minimum, and that raises their profit a lot when they don't have to spend as much money. Go ahead, sorry.
Now, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. Nintendo has made great experiences these past few years. Since Breath of the Wild, they've been on a non-ending win streak. Regarding Pokemon, though, I would argue that quality is not improving because the Pokemon company does not have any competition. Not Nintendo. Nintendo
that's
owns
fair.
a third of
that's
that.
a fair. Yeah.
Because if you look at Nintendo's track record these past few years, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Metroid Dread, Pikmin 4, Fire Emblem Three Houses, all these games they've done extremely well, and Nintendo is investing in all of those franchises regardless. And they've even decided to bring some franchises back.
Do you think that has something to do with the Nintendo fan base as a whole? Meaning, when you compare it to something like PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo doesn't have these huge, big, open world third person cinematic experiences like PlayStation, and Xbox, doesn't have the big shooters and whatnot. But I guess we're talking about like casual gamers. Like a lot of the Nintendo, if you're a Nintendo only player, you are a casual gamer. I wouldn't say you're a hardcore, gamer. Those experiences are really great, and I don't think Nintendo has ever felt the need to push graphically or otherwise with anything, because they know that they're very comfortable with their fan base, if that makes any sense. Like Nintendo fans aren't screaming for Call of Duty to come to their to the Switch. They're not.
No, they were
screaming
shocked. They were shocked when Microsoft said we're gonna bring Call of Duty to Nintendo Switch.
Right.
A lot of them were just like, "Huh? How's that gonna work?
Okay.
It's gonna melt our Switches." Like,
yeah,
what?
right. Like I guess I'll play it if it comes. Nobody was like, "Oh." They weren't like, "Finally," it's like we've been left out. But anyway, I just said all that just to say that competition is good. To your point, to the person who tweeted, competition is really good, and without competition, we're not gonna get improvement at an accelerated rate, in the same way. So that's what I'm excited about. That they said,
well,
things aren't changing. The sky isn't falling, like Dante said.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I agree there. Well, you asked me before if Nintendo needs a change because they don't really have competition. I would argue that they do. I would argue they don't need competition because of the one thing that they've always held on to since their inception. Every game in a specific franchise, if you look back, each game that they've made has done something unique and something different each time. If you look at Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, came out in 2017, to Wonder last year, you can see the difference that team has made with that game. If you look at Zelda, from Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild, or from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask to Twilight Princess, they always try to do something unique and different aside from PlayStation and Xbox. PlayStation and Xbox have mainly tried to play it safe when it comes to their games. But Nintendo has always tried to innovate. And they've tried to be more creative every time they make a game. And I would argue that that some of their first-party games are hardcore experiences, because let me ask you this, Red. When you think of Nintendo, which 3 gaming franchises do you think of immediately?
Zelda,
Just 3.
Pokemon, Mario.
Exactly. If you told a family of 4 that you want to get a Nintendo Switch for Fire Emblem or for Pikmin, do you think they would have any idea what that is? Or Metroid?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And if you look at those games, they're thematically different, and they're also gameplay oriented, difficulty different than the others. So I would argue that Nintendo does have some hardcore experiences, just not enough that are well known.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're not. I just meant that they're not like they're in their own league, I guess, as far as what Nintendo fans expect. Whereas PlayStation, PlayStation fans, a lot of them have been getting used to these third-person cinematic experiences, which are great. They're amazing. They're amazing. But whenever it's not that, you've raised the bar here. When something comes out that's like a little like this, you're like, I don't know about that. A lot of PlayStation fans were saying before Starfield came out, like it doesn't look like it's their cup of tea. And not all of them. I'm just saying, but maybe that's because they do prefer. They do have an expectation now with PlayStation, and now Xbox is really trying to just, I don't know, their messaging, it really seems like their messaging today was, we believe in generations. Again, talking about like we want everybody to play everything and ease of access. We will also have great exclusives. We didn't spend $69 billion have just to give it away, just to give it to somebody else. So now you have a new big, massive, popular IP in Diablo 4 coming to Game Pass in March. You said March is loaded now, by the way.
March 28th, yes, a week after Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2 is when Diablo 4 launches on Game Pass, and there's more to come. I like that they're not just dropping all of them at the drop of a hat. I like how they're trying to space it out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited. Lotus says, "Hi, you Donnie. Same place, same time again." Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us in chat. Let me know what you guys think. Are you as positive as we are? I'm not like jumping through the roof, but it's more like I feel relieved, and I think. I try not to ride anyone's roller coaster when this all blew up. Assassin can tell you, I tried to not to get on that roller coaster, and I feel validated in that at least. But what are you guys thinking? Whoever's here, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. What else did they talk? It's the backwards compatibility thing via Windows. That was something that they touched on. Starfield is not coming. Starfield and Indiana Jones is not coming to
PlayStation
or
Nintendo.
Right? Can you imagine? Well, I actually could see Starfield because they put Skyrim on. They're
not with that current Switch hardware, Red. There's no
right.
chance. No. If you thought Starfield looked a little off on PC and Xbox, there's no way the Switch is going to be able to handle that monster.
Man, and I've heard Carrick with ACG was talking about the sound compression with Skyrim on Switch and how bad that was. It was like the noise that he makes to emulate how bad crunchy audio mixing can be. Yes. But no, I don't know.
Everyone on Twitter is like, so that's what the overreaction was about?
Yeah, everybody's like, I hope you kept your Xbox receipts or whatever, or
Well, wait a minute.
Get your Xbox back.
They have an article that pretty much says everything. This is new information. They have 34 million Game Pass subs. It was up from 31. So Game Pass is still growing.
Nice. What was
And it's
what
only
was
going to
that
grow
time
once those
difference?
exclusives come.
Right,
I
and
think
now
31 was last
with
year.
Diablo, dude, with Diablo, people are gonna be jumping on that if they don't have it already.
All Microsoft has to do is when Call of Duty comes out, they put Call of Duty on the box and it says, play Call of Duty with Xbox Game Pass. That's all they have to do, and the consoles will sell, Game Pass subs will go up. That's all they have to do. Please,
Right.
Aaron, just tell the people who make the boxes, just do that. That's all you have to do. And then they'll probably get a lead on PlayStation in a few years. You never know. We have seen weirder.
So happy mom to send me a funny picture. I was trying not
I do
to
like
laugh.
the fact that we're still getting day one releases, by the way, from first party.
Yeah, and that's another. That was. Thank you for reminding me. That was the other thing that people were saying that's going to go away too, and big changes are coming to Game Pass. That's what they're going to announce, and people, it's like they're like, no, guys, Phil said we still believe in the exclusivity. That we know that's important. Matt Booty even said it too. He said that big games are what sells players. Like there's an expectation to be met there.
Someone clip that out and send it to Damarco. That's just to see him
Phil
give an
saying-
anime reaction of Phil and Matt saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be like,
yeah.
no.
Be like, no, this can't be true. Yeah, they said that big game. They still believe in exclusivity. That's still a thing that they're pursuing. At the same time, I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to dip their toes into the exclusivity bank, which is what PlayStation has been doing really, really well with. They're also trying to bring accessibility to players that don't really want to be locked down to a console. So that's where we're getting. That's why PC Game Pass has been really great. Now they're not using PC Game Pass wording anymore. They said many times Windows. They said Windows like 20 times in this. Maybe not that many times, but they said it a lot. Talking about Windows and the future of backwards compatibility and whatnot. So I think that's them. Yeah.
So Phil specifically mentioned the leaks at the beginning of the podcast. He mentioned we want to address the recent leaks. That tells me that they were recording this as the drama was unfolding. Do you think that Phil and the Xbox team, they were seeing the reactions that the community was given and like went to Satya and the leadership and the shareholders and like, this is the reaction if we go your way? Do you want this? Do you want this to happen? No. Then let us do it. Let us make the changes.
Right, yeah.
Let us be
Phil's just sitting
transparent.
there at his desk. He just leans over at the board meeting. He just like to Satya, and Satya's like, all right.
He's like,
yeah,
none of y'all
go ahead
understand gaming. We're the ones that do. We make the choices here about Xbox.
Right. Yeah, and it was this is definitely reactionary. This is this wasn't like, because Phil worded it like, we're listening, we have a business event planned. It wasn't like he was saying we just so happen to have a business update coming. This was damage control, but not the type of damage control like in a negative sense. Like it's like them saying like, this is a shitstorm right now, and we need to assure our customers, because that's what we are at the end of the day, that your money is still going to be well spent. We are in your best interest and our best interest. Phil said he was very transparent about the growth of the business, and this he wasn't saying it's about the gamers, and he said that too. But he also talked about, in order to grow an industry, you have to sort of think outside the box a little bit and go outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And he sort of touched on like he didn't say Sega, but he was like, if at worst case scenario, if you don't try to expand just a little bit and give accessibility, like I was saying, that businesses will fail. They will not do as well. He didn't say fail, but he said it won't be looking too hot. I'm really glad that he was transparent about that, but this was definitely them saying we need to do something about this right now. So whatever meeting that they had And whoever heard something, that person's probably gone. Well, they probably still don't know who it is, but
Yeah, I think the conversation was, I think these influencers were right in a sense. Like they said, they were talking about the possibility of Starfield, Indiana Jones, Gears of War, Halo coming to PlayStation. They saw those reactions. They went to whoever they report to, Satya or the team that Satya has with them, and said, "This is the reaction. This is what people have said they're going to do if we do this.
Right. Yeah.
If we do this, this division will fail, and we will not be able to continue making hardware. We will not continue to be doing this if we go your way.
Right.
We go our way. Gaming
Right,
is different.
Yeah,
than Windows.
trust me, Satya. That's what it feels like, dude, bro. Like, you put me in this position. Allow me to show you that you're wrong, and let the people speak. And man, did they speak a lot. So
'Cause honestly, I think that was the decision. I think Microsoft overrode them before the leaks came out and said, "You're doing this. You are putting Starfield and Indy and Halo on PlayStation. You are doing that."
right.
But once those leaks went out, and Phil brought that attention, that backlash to them, and said, "You sure about that?
You sure about that? Yeah, exactly.
You sure about that? Like, never mind. Just these four. Just these four, okay? All right, that makes sense. 2 live service and 2 small games that didn't do very well. Fine, we'll do that.
Right. Yeah, it's
No
them
more.
testing the water. Like, let's just see. Okay, don't throw all your fish in one barrel or whatever they say. Let's just test this out and see how many people would be interested on another platform, on our rival platform, nonetheless. When I say rival, I mean competition. Nintendo and PlayStation. So we'll see, and because they don't want to. Because once you put something somewhere, you can't take it away. And Phil has said that we're not taking games away from players. When people were like, they're going to be taking away a Skyrim or Elder Scrolls and taking away Fallout. It's like, Minecraft, right? Yeah, because Minecraft has been there for a while now. So, yeah, the best thing about this was it felt very candid, I guess, to me. And I'm not as
One
naive
thing
as
that
I.
went under the radar, Red.
Yeah.
One thing that went under the radar, when it was Matt's turn, he mentioned teams that are going to be joining Xbox. What is he talking about there? Because Activision Blizzard, yes, they're still integrating with each other, but they're officially under the Xbox umbrella. I don't want to put the conspiracy hat on, but when he said new teams joining, does that mean we're going to see more acquisitions this year?
Man.
Like maybe smaller ones of smaller teams, or maybe a couple of AAA studios coming in.
Yeah, like I could see not like big acquisitions, but like Xbox has been marketing No Man's Sky for like really heavily for this is just an example. Okay, No Man's Sky released as a PlayStation exclusive. That's actually literally I've told this a million times. That's actually why I have my PS4. I bought that PS4 just so I could play No Man's Sky. Then whenever Xbox Next came out, they had all this marketing for it. They even have a helmet in No Man's Sky that is just the big round Xbox logo that you can put on your character. So something like that, where they team up with these smaller studios that need the support, like Valheim. Valheim was Iron Gate Studios. They're not like. Yeah, you're right, exactly. Yeah, it's a small, which is still a small studio, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, these I could see something like that, and of course, marketing rights is still a really important thing. We talk about how Microsoft and Xbox is not great with their marketing, so we could see some more of that. And they have been, like, Palworld did really, really well, and they're like, now that it's doing well, let's market it, and they did, and it's working. It's still working. So I could see something like that with smaller studios they could partner with to give them some support, and in turn they get more marketing rights. They get a Game Pass deal, maybe stuff like that. So maybe that's what they meant. I don't know. What do you think,
Maybe.
man?
I mean, I don't think they're going to go after another publisher anytime soon. I sure as hell don't want them to.
Nah, me neither.
I could see
Me
maybe
neither.
smaller AA studios, AAA studios. Like, just for example, like maybe a studio like Team Cherry, like Microsoft is marketing Hollow Knight Silksong now, so
Okay.
maybe Team Cherry would be a good addition to the team. They only have like 5 or 10 people on that team. I could definitely use some support from a big first-party publisher, or maybe a studio like Crystal Dynamics or Eidos could jump in, because apparently that's something that Microsoft is trying to do behind the scenes. I know a lot. I think a lot more publishers are looking into Embracer more than people realize and saying, "Hey, these studios, they're in, like, we need to do something now." Like, these studios are pretty much in danger at this point. Like, if you saw the report that came out today, Embracer lost 1,500 people in the past year. I think 3 studios had shut down over the course of the year as well, and there's more to come. More studio layoffs, more studio closures are coming. I don't want to turn this into a whole fear because of Embracer, since this is mainly Xbox focused, but I could see maybe 1 or 2 more acquisitions this year. But I don't think they're going to be, I don't think they're going to be mind-blowing type of acquisitions. I think they're just going to be smaller teams that make sense on joining the team at Xbox. We're going to support them in making new experiences that are exclusive to Xbox, just like before. Just like they did with the studios they did in 2018, and Bethesda and Activision. I honestly, after this, I've got my confidence back that Xbox is going to do well this year. I'm just glad that they were transparent enough to calm the fears of the community, which I'm not gonna lie, those concerns were majorly overblown, but Microsoft did not help by planting the seeds of those fears so long ago. When Ori first came to Switch,
Right, okay.
and then Cuphead, and then
Minecraft was the first, right? That was like not the first. That was like the beginning. Like, oh, the writing's kind of on the wall.
that was the beginning.
Yeah.
But Ori and Cuphead really started that fear of, are all exclusives going to eventually go over, or only a few, and which ones?
Right, and then once the media, Dante says, CD, once Embracer lays them off, yeah, which is sad. God, something needs to be done about Embracer. They just need to be. Why is the FTC? Man, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but FTC, come on.
Well, Embracer's a Swedish company, so the FTC can't do anything.
I
but
know.
The EU can.
I can?
EU can.
Oh, I thought I can. Okay.
The European Union can do something about it, for fuck's sake.
I thought you meant I can do something. I was like, I'll do it. Tell me what to do.
I mean, you can, just don't buy their games. But then again, they have so many studios, you don't know which ones are owned by Embracer.
I know. What did they say on Xbox here? They went from, it was like 800 and now they're down to like 600 or I don't know what the number is.
They have
anyway.
150 studios under their belts at Embracer.
Okay. Yeah, my number was a little off.
Oh yeah, it was
yeah,
off.
A little off. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, man, it was a good show. It was good. It was transparent. It's what the community needed. They answered all of our questions, even the ones that we didn't think they would answer. They did. They answered a question that we completely forgot about, like when is ABK coming to Game Pass? This was a really good like answer to everything.
Yeah, they did.
My question is, are these the final 4 games coming over to other platforms, or are there more to go over?
He said, oh god, he said something like, for now this is the first 4 games that are coming. For now, in the future, I had to go back and listen to. It sounded like he, in a roundabout way, said, because I said this earlier, when people are going to say, well, how do we know then? How do we know if you're just going to wait a year and then put everything on, whatever else? Because that still is part of the argument. That is still part of okay, you said all this stuff, and that's all sounds good and fine, but you're still saying that you're bringing Xbox exclusives to competition platforms. So I think that's something that it's a fair argument. But he did say something like, "For now" or something. I'll have to go back and look at it, but anyway, we'll have to wait and see, because I know a lot of stuff's gonna start happening in the next 24 hours. So we'll get more insight about what's happening. But look at that. This inside source Starfield indie is coming. Well, there you have it, folks. That wasn't true. So anyway, any other thoughts, Assassin?
Only that there's going to be a lot of Xbox fans that are going to be looking at themselves and think, why did I do this? And there's going to be a lot of PlayStation fans that are not going to be happy with this news.
Just staring
they were
at
hoping
themselves, shirtless in the mirror, crying.
They were hoping Microsoft would go third party and like, yay, we don't have to buy an Xbox. And Phil's like, joke's on you. These 4 games are coming, but we're keeping the rest. And everyone's like, oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. I need my Xbox back. That's what I was saying last.
I bet young
show.
Kiryu is being so stupid right now.
I know exactly. Well, no, he's gonna stick to his guns and say nope, still, because the pride, there's too much pride there, I'm sure. But I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. He's a good dude. So yeah, I'm excited. So anyway, guys, chat. Thank you guys so much for the support, and Lotus, again, you're so generous. I don't even know how to say words after that. When that happened, I was literally about to fall over and have a conniption. So the words just can't do anything. But thank you so much, and Dante, you as well, brother. That really means a lot. It really means a lot. I don't know what else to say. It's really kind of you guys. And Yodani always showing up. And Happy Bomb, thanks for showing up too. You're awesome. And Kellyanne, I don't know who you are, but thank you for showing up as well. And anyway, Assassin, you want to get out of here?
Yep, I'm gonna go get something to eat. My family should be back, and that's what I'm gonna go do. So
cool.
I'm gonna head out.
All right. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. No, I don't know time zones. Anyway, we'll see ya. Bye, everyone.